going, everybody? This is Johnny from All Around Boxing. I'm here with Moises, El Periko Rosales. Now, Moises, the first time I met you, could not say your full complete name. Only could say Periko, but man, I've been practicing it. So, are you impressed that I'm able to say your name?
Yeah.
So, all right. You're fighting next Saturday, Del Sol Boxing Promotions. It's going to be your fifth pro fight. There's a lot of buzz in your career. I've heard a lot of good things from a lot of trainers, and they say, man, you're going to be a really good pro. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels amazing, man. Having a lot of people that talk good about me, So, and I also have a lot of people that talk bad about me. So it's just good, man. You just gotta take the negative, put it aside, take all the positive.
Yeah. So before we talk about actually where you're at in your pro boxing career, I want to get to know you as a person and get to know a little bit of your background. So let's talk about your first boxing or fighting experience ever. How was it? And just tell me, take me back in time of your mindset then.
My first amateur fight, I was nervous. I was actually nervous, and then I would always be nervous, and I would show it to my mom and my dad because I would always be like, "Oh, I gotta use the bathroom. I gotta use the bathroom. Like I gotta use it bad."
Yeah.
And it would always be like way before, like 5 minutes before the fight, I had to get up there. So, and my dad would always get mad. He's like, "Why you always gotta do this? Why you always gotta do this?" Like, I get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I would show it. And then my first couple fights, I started getting nervous like around my 12, 11 fight.
Yeah. So when did you actually start boxing? I guess my question is, when was your first boxing experience ever in an early age?
My first like boxing.
Yeah. When
like
did you start?
sparring.
No, just ever being in a gym or ever hitting a bag. When was your first experience?
I was 5 years old.
So you're 5 years old.
5 years old.
From 5 years old to when did you actually start going to the gym and train?
From 5 years old, and then like actually training to getting ready for the amateurs. I was about 8 years old.
So from 8 years old to 12 years old,
To 12.
right? You 12 years old, then you started doing your
Yeah,
amateur
I
career,
did my
right?
first fight at 12 years old. At 12
Okay,
years
so
old.
from 12 years old to 18 years old, that was your span of your amateur
That
career.
was my whole amateur career.
So let's talk about your amateur career, man. How was it? And tell me how you feel about your amateur career.
Oh, I feel good about my amateur career. I didn't lose till my third amateur fight, and then I had a lot of good experience, man. When I was in the amateurs, sometimes I'm like, damn, I missed the amateurs because it's just a lot of friends, a lot of traveling. Thanks to me, my parents thank me that because of you, we traveled a lot. So I got to know a couple places in the United States, and then I'm just thankful, man. I'm glad I did. I did actually 90 amateur fights, and then my my last fight. It was actually my last fight. I was at the WBC. I won the WBC tournament.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So that's one of your accolades, right? You won the WC tournament. What other accolades do you have in amateurs that you're really proud of?
I have the National Golden Gloves Juniors.
Mhm.
I have those. I have the bronze, the silver gloves, and I'm a two-time WBC champion.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you won all these accolades in amateurs. Tell me another experience you had in amateurs that you'll never forget. That was good, and tell me an experience that you had that was bad.
The good experience I have is when I went to West Virginia with my family, because it was supposed to be just me and my dad going, and then I told my mom like I'm not gonna fight because like I'm used to all my family being there, and then my mom like, okay, if we go then we're gonna have to drive out there, and then I was like, well, we'll drive out there. And my mom was like, well, you're not gonna be the one driving.
Yeah.
So my dad drove. My dad and my tia drove, but my dad drove about like 12 hours. In total, it was like 40 plus hours driving. And that was the best experience. And then my bad experience was in New Mexico, actually, in Deming, New Mexico. I didn't make weight. I had to take off my boxing in front of everybody. It was so embarrassing.
How old were you when that happened?
How old was that? I was about like 14, 15.
14, 15. Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely could. Yeah, your shyness went away then, right?
Yeah, and it was regionals too, so it was like it was not a little bit of people, it was a couple of people.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Virginia, man. So your family obviously means a lot to you. So your family drives up there. You probably have a good trip. You know, they're there. How much did that mean to you, your family showing up to you over there in West Virginia?
Oh, it meant a lot to me. Like just hearing my sister, my mom, my brother, my dad in my corner screaming like, "You got this!" You know, like it's just it motivates you. And then actually a fun fact, I broke my nose actually right there
Yeah?
with a headband. It was actually the first day. It was a 7-day tournament.
Uh-huh.
The first day I fought, broke my nose.
Oh,
I still had 6 days. I got off the ring. The doctor's like, "Oh, you're not gonna be able to fight. Your nose is broken." I was like, I'm coming from Arizona."
yeah.
He's like, "Well, I wouldn't want you to fight. I want you to get hurt." And then I talked to my dad. I was like, "Hey, he don't want me to fight." And my dad talked with them, and so they let me fight, and I got to the finals
Wow, that's amazing. And
with a
that's
broken nose.
yeah, you know what? That's such an amazing experience, and it is preparing you. The amateurs do prepare you for the pros because of that, right? You
Yes.
had to deal with that adversity, and you know what's crazy is you probably fought how many times with that broken nose?
A lot.
Yeah, like
Like,
more than 10?
Was a 7-day tournament, broke it on the first day. So I fought to the finals. I fought about like 4 days.
4 days.
4
And
days.
how many guys do you fight per day?
One.
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 Okay, so
three
you
rounds. 3 rounds each.
it's crazy, man, with the broken nose.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you're a tough son of a gun. But okay, so your amateur career, man, very, very, very decorative. You know, two-time WBC champ.
Yes.
Traveled the country with your family. Um, then comes your pro debut, right? So let's talk about your pro debut because I wasn't there, so I'm curious how you felt leading up to that event, and also how you felt during that event.
Yeah. I actually did my pro debut out in Mexico.
Mhm.
In Mexico, it was at the, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Gladiator Promotions.
Mm-hmm.
It was out in Mexicali. To be honest, I wasn't nervous my first pro fight because it was like during COVID, like 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so they were not letting no people in. So they had to buy tickets and they were watching them on the TV. So that's why I told my mom and my dad, I was like, that's why I probably wasn't nervous because it was nothing but judges and people in the corner
Mm-hmm.
and there was no people. So I wasn't nervous my first fight. You know, I was fully motivated and mentally strong and physically strong. So I was going for a win, and that's why I didn't get nervous because there was no crowds or nothing.
Mhm.
So,
Would you say that when did you actually fight with a crowd?
oh, my second fight.
So your second fight did that feel like your pro debut?
Uh, to be honest, it didn't. It didn't, but it felt like the adrenaline hit different because here in the crowd, it was here in Phoenix, Arizona. It was at the Rancho Corona,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was my second fight. It was hearing everybody, like my whole family, everybody. There was a crowd now, so it motivated me.
That's pretty cool. So you did I want to go back to when you said you fought during COVID, man, because just a thought came in my head, man, that you usually fighters fight with crowds, right, and they feed off that.
Yes.
But not having a crowd probably benefited you and probably prepared you a little better to fight in the pro section because it was kind of like an amateur fight
It was.
without headgear.
Yes.
And they're actually doing that now in the Olympics, right? For amateurs, they're not wearing
a
headgear.
headgear, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad that you kind of it didn't affect your career, right?
Yeah.
You weren't nervous because there was no crowd or it felt awkward. You know, you were kind of familiar with it because amateurs,
So-
there was just a judge there. Yeah, there was a crowd, but
not everybody was just focused on
yeah.
that, you know.
yeah. So, okay, so you have 5 pro fights. You are fighting. Do you know the opponent that you're fighting next Saturday, June 11th?
To be honest, I don't know his name by the top of my head, but he has a lot of experience.
Yeah,
A lot of
so-
experience. And then I just train hard, you know, just prepared all the time to whatever comes in front of me. Because at the end of the day, they could switch your opponent at the last minute. You always got to stay ready for the next one.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. How is it training? Take me through a day or a camp of Periko, man. Like, where do you train at, and also, what do you do your first week, all the way leading to, the fight day.
Actually, my mother-in-law, I started my camp. She did my meal preps. This is the only camp I've done meal preps, and then I've
What's
been
her name? Sorry. Go ahead.
Chelsea Longoria.
Just giving her a shout out, Chelsea,
Yeah.
because that's a big deal, man. She
Yeah.
helps you out like that. So go
Chelsea,
ahead.
and then my girlfriend too. She'd be helping me out doing the meal plans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but this camp is just. I feel like this camp is good, and I'm ready to show it on June 11th because it was a hard camp. I actually did sparring with Gabriel Flores
Okay.
and Rayo Valenzuela,
Oh,
so it should. This camp is been good. So and I felt good, and then I sparred a whole week with Gabriel Flores. I think that week I did about like 27, 28 rounds.
hmm
So it was good. Shout out to Gabriel Flores and Rayo Valenzuela for helping me out, man. Thank you.
yeah. And you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Gabriel Flores because the person who actually set that up was Luis.
Madrid.
Luis Madrid from Box Talk. And I remember he told me about that he was coming and he wanted me to kind of like come and do some media. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, how was it? How was it experiencing a fighter like Gabriel Flores? That's he's kind of he's coming up,
Yes.
right? He's coming up. A lot of people don't like him, but you have this guy, and with Rayo Valenzuela helping you season into a pro fighter. Tell me about your experience with them.
Oh man, just first I want to thank Gabriel Valderrama that hooked us up with the sparring, and it set me up to what level I wanted to see myself in, and then I felt good. First couple rounds I was like, okay, like I'm. It's a different level of sparring with them, because they don't want no 4 or 3 rounds. They're 8 and up rounds, So that like helped me mentality like, oh, I gotta push myself harder, stronger, train harder. Seeing them train too after the sparring, like they get off the sparring, they don't take off the wraps. They boom, straight to the bag, just train hard, 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 hard.
Yeah, so you're able to see a kind of like a different level because right now
Different level.
you're in the beginning stages of a pro, right? But as you get better and better, you start seeing all these fighters how they train, so you kind of get a rub off of them, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is how they train. This is they don't take breaks or they go an extra round,
Yeah.
right? So I'm glad that you got that experience, man, because it's only helping you become a better pro.
Yeah, no, and they treated me the best, man. They were here just telling me, hey, you gotta work on this, you gotta work on this. So,
Mhm.
and shout out to Coach Flores too,
Yeah.
Gabriel Flores' dad. He helped me out a lot too. He showed me a couple things I gotta work on, and shout out to him too. He's just very lovable people, man.
How is Gabriel Flores Junior and Senior, and how are they as people?
They're amazing people, man. They treated me the best. Just great talk, man. I had a great talk with Gabriel Flores and Gabriel Flores Junior and Senior. They treated me the best,
Mhm.
They told me I gotta work on the stuff that I was mistaken on, and not a lot of people do that.
Mhm. And how was it sparring with them?
Our sparring was
Yeah.
good sparring.
Did you get yours when you were sparring with them, or was he just like it was just
No,
different
it,
level?
it was good sparring. It was good sparring. Yeah.
All right, and then Rayo Valenzuela, how was that, man? Because man, he has a lot of buzz going on with
Yeah.
him.
Rayo Venezuela is good, man. Very, very accurate. Very, very calm in the ring. No wild, but he's good. He's a good person too.
Yeah.
Him and Jose Benavides Senior.
Mhm.
Both of them would tell me that I did a good job. So
Mhm.
hearing it from them is like, oh, okay, I'm improving. Now I gotta train harder now.
Yeah, man. Well, that's awesome that you got those experiences with both of them. Now, like we were saying, you're fighting June 11th, Del Sol Boxing Promotion at the Glendale Civic Center. If people wanted to get tickets for that event, where did they go?
They could go at the Del Sol page, or they could contact me at Axel Rosales on Facebook or on Instagram, Axel Rosales.
Now, just so people, because I always get people usually ask me, like, how much are usually tickets? So, how much could they get a ticket for?
General admission, the lowest is 45.
Mhm.
$45 general admission, and they got middle section for 60, and then ringside for 75. I think VIP tables are like 1,000. VIP
Cool.
tables.
Well, man, first off, I want to thank you. I want to thank No Flinching Boxing. I want to thank Gabriel Valderrama and your first off your mom, because your mom actually hit me up and said, "Hey, man, can you do this for my son?" So I appreciate her liking my content and wanting me to talk to you, man. And I saw you train. You train really well. You're quick. You have power. I'm excited to see what's your future looks like. Right.
Yes.
Now, before we go, do you want to say anything to your sponsors and your supporters?
I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors, Blends, that cuts my hair, is my barber, and was my uncle, my tias, my mom, especially my dad, and then Famous Cuts Barbershop. Thank you guys.
It's all your sponsors? All right, cool. Well, guys, if you guys don't have anything going on June 11th, which is next Saturday, so June 11th, 2022, next Saturday at the Glendale Civic Center, come see El Periko fight. Very exciting fighter. If you guys didn't see his last fight, he knocked that guy out cold, right? He knocked some, probably one of it's you and Checo that right now in Arizona have knockout of the year. I don't know if anyone could top that out, but hey, man, try and top it on next Saturday. So, all right, guys, my name is Johnny. I'm here with Moises, El Periko Rosales. Be there June 11th, and I appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.